So hello.
How you doing?
Good. My name is Ayana Tillman, and you're
Justin Bird.
Justin. So I wanted to have a conversation with you today, kind of centered around spirituality and kind of sacred conversation. We may touch a little bit on religion, or whatever you're comfortable with. If there's anything in particular you're not comfortable sharing or speaking about, just let me know. We'll move on. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your scope of spiritual belief. What is it that you believe or that you think about?
Well, I'm a Christian, so I believe like all the Christian stuff. Like I won't consider myself like a diehard Christian. Like I still do stuff that I know is bad, but I still pray every night before I go to bed and when I wake up. But I won't consider myself like a diehard Christian, if that makes sense.
So what's bad? I mean, I don't think there's anything.
I mean, like we sin every day, like cussing. I have a bad habit of cussing. And just like some things that the Bible go against, I do sometimes.
Okay, so what makes you think that cursing is sinful?
I mean, it's a church that my grandma took me to, so the church I grew up in, and there was like cussing is not a Christian like, and so I mean I don't do it on purpose. Just the way I grew up, it's a habit. It just comes out, and I feel bad sometimes. Like after I cuss, I'm like, oh, dang. So it's like.
So it's a form of expression for you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that environments that allow you to express yourself liberally without reservation go against a spiritual belief system?
No, because for me, I feel like everybody needs to express. Everybody has their own way of expressing themselves. And if you constrict that, then they're not really going to express themselves. Then it's going to build up more and more. And then one day it's going to be bad. Because like everything bottled up is just going to come out at one time. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about your grandmother and the church that you kind of grew up in or were influenced by. Tell me a little bit about your family, where you're from, and I'm sure a little bit more about your grandmother.
I was born in Princess Anne, but I moved to Atlanta when I was 5.
So born in Maryland,
yes.
You moved to Atlanta.
Atlanta. Then we moved to Norfolk, Virginia, stayed out in Norview. Then we moved back to Atlanta. And we just basically been all over. And my grandma, she went to church. It felt like when I was little, so it felt like every day. So like church was like lasted for like hours. But she was like really, she was a definition of a Christian. Like she could do, well, when I was little, I didn't see like she did nothing wrong. She didn't cuss. She just prayed all the time. Even when she wasn't doing nothing, she would just start praying. And just trying to teach me the right way and keep my head on straight and everything.
Yeah. So did you grow up with brothers and sisters, or was it just?
Yes, I have one little brother and one little sister.
Okay.
And my brother just had his birthday. He just turned 20. And my sister, she's 18.
Okay, cool. So in terms of your family, other than your grandmother, do you tend to have a more religious family, or are you a more mixed family?
It's really a mixed family. Like it depends. Really, if you catch them on a good day, they're really good Christians. Most of the time, it depends on how they feel.
I think that's all of us.
Yeah,
I think we all can kind of like fall in that category. So tell me a little bit about like your history, who you are, what you wanted to be coming up, and how maybe who you are now is influenced by the community around you.
Let's see. I'll start. When I was little, I was always trying to fit in, like especially like elementary, middle school. Because where I grew up, I didn't have neighbors. I grew up in Princess Anne on Follow Ditch Road, so it was a farm, and I had no neighbors. Like my house was like right here. So the only time I actually got to see other people, communicate with other people, was when I went to school. So summer break and all that.
Okay.
I didn't have nobody to talk to. So when I moved to Atlanta, it was kind of new for me having neighbors and all that. So that's when I tried to fit into people. And then after a while, I realized like they're not gonna do nothing for me. So I just started being my own person and started moving the way I want to move. A lot of people didn't like that, but I realized like I just met these people, and when I graduate, they're gonna forget about me anyway, or vice versa. And about the environment, I don't know, because like I said, I'm my own person now. So yeah, you may see me in like environment, but I don't mean that's who I am. I just I just happen to be there. Like nothing can influence me to change the way I am because I'm comfortable the way I am. Like I like this mellow. I won't say nonchalant, but in certain situations I might just seem like I'm nonchalant, but it's not that. It's just how I am.
So tell me so describe your personality in terms of other people, making connections and.
Okay, so about that, it's a lot of people tell me that because I have like this straight face all the time, they thought I was mean at first.
Okay.
Because I just walk around by myself with my music. I love my music, so I just walk around with my music and just be in my own little space. But like other people, like in order for me to consider you as like I won't consider friends as like either my brother or my sister, because friends I don't believe in that. So it's like in order for me to consider one of them, we gotta have to have goals or the same goals or doing something with your life versus just being out here not doing nothing. Because I'm trying to move up and be successful, and I don't want to hang around people who don't want that, trying to bring me down, and you bring me all that bad energy when I'm trying to get all that good energy.
Got you. So the people who you associate with, how do you frame them? How do you categorize the levels of, since you say I don't have friends, I don't consider these people friends, like what categories do you find people falling into for you?
Well, like I said, brother and sister, but at first I just talk to them. I don't put no title, I just see how they roll, and I watch from a distance, and I hang out with them and see how they truly are, because they might act like a certain way in front of certain people, and a different way like by themselves. But if they act the same way by themselves and in front of certain people, those are the people I like, because I know they're not going to change up when other people come around or some people come around.
Okay.
But the people who do change up, I kind of keep like weary of them just because like, okay, so something bad happened, I know I can't trust them versus the people who don't switch up. I already know that for sure they're going to have my back no matter what.
So what I'm hearing you say is like a level of consistency. Like I know who you are, you've displayed who you are, and you're consistent in that regardless of the environment, the community that we find ourselves in. So tell me a little bit about like education, where you may find yourself in the scope of education, what you want to do, what you're doing currently.
Well, my first choice was to go to the military. Okay. And I was going to go to Marines, but when I went to MEPS, I got medically declined because I had eczema on my back.
Okay.
And so I couldn't do that. So my second choice was to go to school, and I'm in for kinesiology. And so basically, when I grow up, when I graduate, I'm trying to become a massage therapist and have like a couple parlors like around the world.
Around the world. Okay.
I love traveling, so I'm trying.
Big dreams. So do you see any connection between kinesiology, which is the study of?
It's like the study of basically like the body, because it's medical and then clinical. Okay. And so it's basically.
So wellness, this holistic kind of view. So do you see any connection between physical, mental, spiritual, emotional wellness and spirituality or religion, that kind of construct?
See, because I don't know, because really for me, if it depends on your situation. No, it only depends on your situation. It depends on your mindset. Because it don't matter what you look like or what you think you look like. If you're happy with you, then you're going to be happy either way. Like with money, some people don't have money and some people do. But yet you still see both of them still upset, even people with money and without money. And the people without money is usually sometimes more happy because they don't have to worry about like fake people or just a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff. What was that about?
Yeah, like in terms of, and let me tell you where my question is being directed from. I've always had an interest in wellness, holistic wellness, so mind, body, spirit, and I've always believed that there's a connection between those. Like I may come into the gym, right, and that is a sacred space for me. So when I come there, I and I'm not only able to go inside of my own mind, kind of mellow out, but also challenge myself in a way that pushes me on a physical level. And then I find like when I leave, there's this sense of like release. You know, like when I leave the gym, I almost feel like I've left a sanctuary. I come in, whether I'm dealing with a certain level of stress. I was a trainer for many years too. My background is psychology in terms of education. But I would find a lot of times, like in my life, where maybe I was frustrated with like the church community, or I didn't really feel like the practice of church at the time was what I wanted. But I could go in the gym, you know, put my stress on the iron and come out feeling balanced again, like what you're supposed to feel when you leave sanctuary. And so I'm wondering with you, with that being your study in terms of school, because you're a college student now, so I'm wondering if you find that as a balance, or if you think they're two, like spirituality and holistic wellness are two totally different things.
No, okay, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna use an example. Cause I run track. So when I'm stressed and all that, I go for a run. But at like track meets is where it's just like I feel free because my mind is focused and I already know my body is in shape. And like my spirit, like I'm in love with track. So that's my passion, that's my spirit. Mm-hmm. So knowing that my spirit's happy and my body's in the right condition for me to do this. So I guess, yes, it will. Well, I know that it's all in one. Mm-hmm. So like when I run, I just feel like I accomplished this. And after the track meet, when I go to practice, okay, my time was this, so I gotta bring my times down even more. Mm-hmm. And as I see my times going down more, my spirit's gonna go up higher, just so then my body's gotta get stronger in order for my times to go down. So it's kind of balance out.
So do you think, so your passion, I heard you say, is running track?
Yes.
So what ways, like if I were looking at a community of young black men like yourself, between the ages of maybe 16 and 25, with you being a trainer, could you see, like how could you see the love and passion of track being merged with a spiritual practice that young African-American men could adopt and embrace? Those who maybe like be opposed to the church or just not, you know, in that place in their life, can you see that as a connection or balance?
Maybe not with track, because track is like a sport where you have to actually like dedicate yourself to it like all day, every day. Mm-hmm. But I also box too. But so boxing, I rather use boxing because it's like, well, since you're talking about that age range and then from the demographics, then yes, because you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people like to fight. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have anger, and that's why I started boxing, to help. Like it's like a release. Mm-hmm. And so you can use that, like have little prayer sessions before the boxing matches or before boxing training, and then they'll go in and they'll let all that stress out on the heavy bag or whatever they got to do. Mm-hmm. And then versus them fighting in the streets and killing each other. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Do you work out like here on campus?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Coach Mike in Talls?
Yes.
You know Coach?
I go all day every day.
Oh, great. He was my trainer for like 12 years while I worked here and I was a student here. And one thing that I think is very unique about what he does is he has this way of merging like spiritual conversation and as he's training you. Or he'll kind of maybe insert something that talks about, like he talks about he never had a human coach. And he trained himself, and he's a 10-time like world heavyweight champion.
He's strong.
Yeah, he's strong for real. And he's also like he trains other people with a level of motivation that comes from a spiritual place, just more of a place of faith than religion. Like believing in yourself, knowing that once you have a practice and you have an intention set, that you can push toward that and accomplish that without, you know, drugs or steroids or all the things that we use to enhance what's already there. So you talked about like taking it out on the bag and like being able to go in and release stress and anger and frustration. So what ways like could you see if a spiritual organization were to come on this campus and try to recruit or encourage young athletes not necessarily towards church or anything, but towards self-realization and self-actualization, which I think is spirituality. Like, what would be a good way to motivate young men in this environment, spiritually and athletically?
Well, young men, it's like, the first thing they gotta do, they can't like force it, because nothing's good if it's forced. They have to, and then like, also like a lot of people think, okay, if we do this and this and this, we can try to relate to them. But basically, like in general, don't try to relate. If like they don't want something they seen all their whole life. Like if it's just something different and interesting, some might check it out. But the fact is, they have to wanna go and like go to the meetings and everything. Like it's really up to the person if they want to change and get the self-realization. You know.
Got you. Yeah. So in terms of like values, what are your values? What are your morals? What are your like standards in terms of who you are as an individual in this environment as a college student?
Right now, honestly, just stay to myself, focus, because I came too far to where I'm at right now. So I'm happy where I'm at right now. I just gotta stay focused and keep doing what I'm doing so far.
Yeah. So what do you believe? Like, do you believe in a higher power?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that power? What do you call it?
God.
God. Okay. You believe in God. What do you believe God's plan and purpose is for your life at this point?
Well, for mine, from the way I grew up, is to help other people who's really struggling and they don't know how to handle it, and I can relate to them, and they can actually see somebody who actually can relate to them, and see where I'm at right now, and see we just keep faith and keep trying and don't give up. Then don't give in to like all the like bad thoughts and all that. Then you'll make it. You just gotta be patient.
What are there any leadership roles that you are active in your school here?
No, not yet. I was talking to the school about getting an RTC, because I was an RTC in high school. They said they're still working on it, so if they get RTC here, then I'm definitely going.
What do you think would be the value of an ROTC program at this institution?
Since it's HBCU, it's going to be impactful, because a lot of people, they don't really do nothing, but they want to do something, and every organization either costs too much money or it's something something like they don't like. But I don't know about college RTC, but high school RTC, we really didn't pay that much, and we got a whole bunch of different teams they can do, like drill team, armed X, unarmed X, and a lot they can do for little to no money at all.
So what do you think, like in terms of the structure of an ROTC program, like what it teaches, what the principles are of that program, what do you think would be a valuable takeaway for like your peers here if you were to lead that program here?
If I was the leader here, then a lot of people, they'd be like, okay, since he's doing it, then it can't be that bad. Because a lot of people see me and they be like, oh, they see me like as a bad guy, because like I said, I walk around with this straight expression, this mean look on my face, when really I just don't like be bothered by people sometimes. But if they see me doing it, and then I can get other people to come with ease, because a lot of people, they like hanging around me. They say they like my vibe. So if I'm doing it, of course I'm bringing other people in. I'm trying to get the program to expand. Yeah. And so they're gonna do it, and then they're gonna see why I act the way I act, because RTC really gave me who I am today, and taught me structure, taught me just core values and everything.
What are the core values you walked away with from ROTC?
Honor, courage, and commitment. And it's just like, and also just to be yourself and help others who need help, and just be.
So you said a couple times, like, people see me and they think I'm this mean guy, and so where do you think the perception comes from, and are you interested in reframing that perception, or are you cool where you are?
I mean, I like this, because like I said, like, I really don't like a lot of people. Well, I just not saying I don't like people. It's just I don't like being around a group of people who just like do a lot of stuff.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm not with that, and it's just like a lot of people tell me, they're like, oh, when I see you, you just walk like you was just mad for no reason. When in reality, I was just listening to my music. I was just walking. It's just how I am.
Do you think society views people who are people who kind of go inward and deal on an internal level? Like, do you think society views them a certain kind of way, or do you think it's an individual thing in terms of how people perceive others?
I mean, it depends. If the person dealing with the problems by themselves. It depends on how they wear their emotions on their sleeves. Meaning, like, if they dealing with problems on themselves and they actually act out on it, like it's going wrong, so they fighting all the time and all that, but they say that they just don't care, but in reality, it's just something going on inside. Then yeah, but versus other people who just walk around and then deal with the problems, but smile at everybody else and then go home and then deal with it by themselves, or just like use everything else as the outlet, but nobody else knows what's really going on. Then yeah, those are the two different people.
What do you think is the greatest challenge that males face on this campus, and what do you think could be done to kind of eradicate that, to try to change that a little bit?
On this campus, honestly, I don't know, because it's a small campus, so a lot of females like to talk to guys, but some females might take it the wrong way, and they just assume that every guy is for everybody. Okay. And so yeah, in reality, we just be trying to live our life. And like for example, if females say hey, then we say hey back, then it get blown up more than what it was. Okay, so more like misjudging, misinterpreting the way you engage in conversation or in the approach. Yes. So what do you think, if anything, young men, young women, the campus environment, like your professors or your administrators, is there anything, or even like the resident assistants or those who work in leadership positions as students, what kind of things, are there programs or are there things that you think they could do to help kind of change that perspective, or do you think that's just the way things are? Honestly, I think that's just the way things are, because I mean, yeah, some programs may help some situations, but a lot of programs is not, because this is how either people are raised, or like some females or some guys, due to past relationships, they just have that mentality right now, and that's that they might have for the rest of their life until somebody come along and they allow them to change it. But right now, I don't see nothing changing. It's gonna stay the same for right now. Interesting. Like, do you think that same thing is reflected in society, or do you think that's a college HBCU? I mean, it's society, because a lot of people just came to college, and they still have the same mentality from when they had left their homes. So they either grew up with it or had it before they come here, and they just bought it here, and then a whole bunch of people from different places all in one spot, you're gonna have some conflict. Do you think that's more like fear? Do you think it's more just people uncertain on how to make the connections? I really think it's fear, because half of it is from people getting hurt, and nobody likes to get hurt, so they protect themselves. But they might do it. They might seem they doing it just enough so they won't get hurt, but other people might see it like, okay, you're doing it too much, and it comes off the wrong way, and it causes more conflict than it was meant to be. Do you think that the community you're in does a good job in allowing people to express their fears, their hurts, their anxieties, their uncertainties, or do you think that we could do better as a whole in how we allow people to express themselves? Like campus-wise? Well, on campus they have society, either way. It's in society. It's kind of, you really just gotta find the right people in society, because yeah, they might claim okay they're here to help you, but in reality they go tell you business to everybody else, and it gets worse and worse and worse. But on campus they have people here that you can trust and talk to, but a lot of people are scared because half of the people are students, and then they be like, okay, I don't want to talk to no other student. It's just that pride thing, like, or I don't need nobody, I can handle this myself. So yeah. Where do you think that mentality comes from? From the way they grew up, because the way I grew up, it was like, don't ever take handouts and always work for yours. And so that's why I do mine. Like, I always work for mine, no matter what. But other people, they might see that as like, they might take the handouts and they don't like working. So in order for to get something in return, they have to work, and therefore they might, it's unbalanced sometimes.
Do you think there will be balance? Do you think there can be balance?
It can be, but like I said earlier, it's really based on the person themselves. Like, it's based on the individual. If they honestly don't mind working and accepting the handout, then it's gonna be balanced. So it's really up to the person and their mindset if that's gonna work.
So let me ask you, in terms of your religious community that you come from, the background and context that you were raised in, do you feel more or less comfortable being able to share your fears and anxieties in those spaces?
Personally, I don't like when a lot of people are like, they know a lot about me, because even in church, people still judge you no matter what. And so personally, I just keep a lot of things to myself. Now, the pastor, I go talk to the pastor, but you know how they have like the altar calls, and then they tell you would never catch me down there. You would never catch me down there. But
why not? What about that makes you uncomfortable? Or?
It's just the fact, like, I don't mind talking in front of people, but like I said, everybody judge. They might not seem like it, but from what I've seen in churches, like after church dinners and all that, they talk about everybody who's not there. And I don't want to have that thought in the back of my mind, okay, I'm sitting there, told everybody my business, and yet they talking about me instead of helping me. Because they say I'll pray for you, they might or they might not, but yet they don't do nothing to actually help.
Got it. So what would that help look like if they actually came through and did what they said they were going to do? I'm going to help you. Like, what would that help look like in your context?
It would be like actually like one-on-one conversations every now and then, and actually like showing that somebody's there to actually care about you and help you versus just saying I'm gonna pray for you. Because prayer does do a lot. I'm not dissing prayer or nothing, but also some people just need that physical presence. Like, okay, she's actually want to help me, and so I don't want to disappoint him or her. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the best I can, if that makes sense.
Cool. And just as we wrap this up, I just want to ask you your thoughts on like the Kanye generation and where we are right now in terms of like hip hop artists kind of stepping into this spiritual game and being able to influence a certain population of people. Like, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so about the music, I listen to pretty much old school, so like Wu-Tang Clan, DMX, and pretty much all the old school, Jodeci, and all that. And about Kanye, I don't know. Kanye's just doing him. When he said slavery was the choice, I really lost. I didn't say lose my respect because I still listen to him, but I just don't listen to him as much anymore because that makes no sense. Like, slavery's not a choice. And then, but him coming back, and then he's doing the church and all that. It's good and bad. It's good because he's, I guess, realizing what he's done and he's trying to get back into it. But it's bad because I don't know if it's like he's trying to set us up for something. Because if you get everybody back on his side, if you switch again, then everybody's still gonna be on his side. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So do you think he has the potential to be like a public theologian? Like, do you think he has the influence to be a public voice for the secular and the spiritual? Why or why not?
Well, some people, for me, no, because from his past, what he said, then that's just me. He can't. But some other people might see it different. Okay, he's changed his life. He changed his life around, but it's not the first time that he ever done something like this. There's a couple times where he had these little crazy moments, and then he came back. Everybody was with him. So other people right now, because right now he got the churches behind him, and a lot of people listen to his music now. Who before he even started making church music, there was like all rap is bad, all rap is a sin. But now he got pastors behind him and a whole bunch of other people behind him. So if you switch back, all them people, you're gonna have a choice: either break away and then look like they were just following him, or stay with him, and it's gonna be worse because whatever he's gonna do is not gonna, go with the churches and all that.
Mm. So do you think that secular artists, like hip hop artists or R&B artists, do you think that them, and then when we look at like gospel artists and people who are into like spiritual Christian music, I mean, can there be a merge, or should they be totally kept separate?
I mean, it can be a merge. Like Kirk Franklin, like he merged a lot of songs, like that can relate to kids nowadays, and so therefore I think it can be a merge because there's old school music, and a lot of people I know that don't like old school music, but I love old school music. So it's like they gotta make music now. If they honestly want to get the word out, they have to make still Christian music, but make it where that the new generation can relate to. So like the fast beats and actually songs you can actually dance to, and have fun to, versus like the old school ones where you just gotta sing your heart out to it and that's it and stand in one spot.
What do you like about old school music? Like, what do you have like? Are you musical in terms of gifts and talents?
I sing every now and then. I'm not gonna sing now because y'all not ready for that.
Oh, we're not ready. Okay.
But this is like the old school music. I like it because like personally, it speaks to me. Like it makes sense. Like the Wu-Tang Clan, I will listen to the Wu-Tang all day long.
So old school hip hop.
Yes.
Not so much old school R&B or.
Oh yeah, R&B. Like I said, Jodeci. And all
so
that.
like love songs, ballads,
yes.
stuff like that. Like what is it about that speaks to who you are and your soul and your spirit and yourself?
Honestly, it just makes me feel comfortable. Like I just feel relaxed when I listen to songs like that. Like Erykah Badu, that song is like when I'm doing my work, I put on Erykah, straight Erykah, and that's the only time I actually focus.
Like what zone does Erykah put you in?
I can't even tell you. I just feel relaxed when I listen to Erykah.
Cool. Is it so? Could you listen to her like? Is it her the words or is it the melody and the music behind the words?
It's really her and the words and like the melody, the way she just sings her songs and everything. It's just,
do you consider her a minister to your soul, to your spirit, to your mind?
Yes. When I'm upset, I listen to her sometimes, and it's just I feel good.
Cool. Do you have any gifts and talents that you think are unique, special?
No, not that I know of. Not that I know so far.
Okay, but you're in a place of discovery and certainly in learning and all of that good stuff.
Yes.
Cool. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap up?
No, that's it. I mean, you got no more questions?
No, like I just really wanted to have a conversation with you, and I'm drawn to your tattoo there.
Oh, this one.
Like, tell me about that.
This one, if you look at it, it's a word illusion. If you look at it here, you see faith, Faith. But if you turn it this way, you see trust, Trust.
Wow. Yes.
Oh,
okay. Perspective, because I didn't. When you flipped it up, like I saw a whole nother. Yeah. So what made you go that route? What made you get that ink?
I mean, it's just like no matter which way you look at it, it's still like it's a human being moral. You gotta have faith or you gotta have trust. It's either one. So if you look at it from the left side, you like to see trust, and if you look at it from the right side, then you see faith.
Are they one and the same, or are they two different definitions for you?
Well, the reason I got it like this, because it's all the same for me. Because in order for you to have trust, you have to have faith. Okay, you gotta trust the person that have faith in you, and vice versa.
Cool. So where in your life does faith show up, and where in your life does trust show up? Right about now.
Right now, I mean, it's all, like I said, it's all in one. So it's always gonna be together. Because so like if I have to have faith in my teacher and trust them, they know what they're doing and they're actually gonna help me. Versus being difficult and trying to give me a hard time or to give everybody a hard time, knowing that we're trying our best. If that makes sense. And also track coach, you gotta have faith and trust that he's gonna give us the right workouts and teach us the right techniques for us to, run faster and do whatever we need to do.
That's good. I really appreciate you sitting down with me. I know this was like off the cuff, after Thanksgiving, we were all full. But I thought you were an interesting cat, like just looking at you. And quite honestly, like my perception of you was not that you were mean or standoffish at all, but that you seemed like a pretty collected, mature young man, especially for the college environment. So I just encourage you to continue to have that faith and trust and that you walk in that, and even when there are times where that doesn't seem like it's present, just knowing that who you are and who you're designed to be has purpose, and that indeed there is something unique that you are to do in this world as a spiritual being and as a physical being. So thank you again for sitting down with me, for being so candid and opening up your life and your world to share with me for this portion of our conversation. So thank you. All right, appreciate it. Tell me your name again.
Justin.
Justin. Nice to meet you, Justin. Thank you.